faces unseen. If you're not aware of our process, applicants present to us. It's the first stop on their way, perhaps, for a liquor license. We make recommendations to the full board. The full board, in turn, either adopts our recommendations, modifies them, and sends them on to the state liquor authority. Often when we make a recommendation, it's not a blanket recommendation. We often phrase it, deny unless being a series of stipulations that we would like incorporated into the operating license. And before we send it on, we have discussions with the applicant and they agree to the stipulations. When the applicant presents, then the members of the Community Board Business License Permits Committee, we discuss, we comment, we question, and then we open it up to members of the community that may be present. Then we take a vote. And that's what goes on. The letter goes on to the full board, which meets the first Wednesday of the month. I don't have the calendar in front of me, but whatever the first Wednesday of March is.
It's March 1st, this month, next month.
Aren't we lucky? So we don't have to wait. It's the first day of March, March 1st at 6:30. And in the back of my head, are we meeting live this March or is it a hybrid meeting?
I don't think we know yet. I mean, so to tell everyone what we're talking about, pursuant to the mayor's state of emergency order, we are allowed to meet via Zoom, and the open meetings law has been suspended. That emergency order has been extended and is currently scheduled to expire sometime later this month. So it's possible we will be back to a live hybrid meeting, but that's sort of a week-to-week thing.
Okay.
And the other thing I wanted to remind everyone is, as part of meeting by Zoom, we are required to live stream the meeting and also put it up on YouTube for eternity. So this meeting's being live streamed and a video of it will exist for who knows how long. So everyone should act accordingly. And the other thing for community members who may want to speak, when we call a particular applicant, if you'd like to speak about that applicant, just use the raise hand function and you will be moved into the main meeting at a appropriate time where you can be seen and address the committee.
Okay. I'd like to do a round and everybody from the committee introduce themselves. Like I said, I'm Bert Lersman, co-chair.
And I'm Frank Holazubiak, the other co-chair.
I'm Mike Noble, a member.
Wendy Gonzalez.
Candace Hewitt, member.
Christine, you're muted.
Did he get me?
Now, go ahead, Ted.
Theodore Arenas or Ted, member.
Christine?
Christine Berthe, member.
Jesse Greenwald, member. Hello.
Candace?
Candace Hewitt, member.
Hey. Okay, we have 9 items on the agenda tonight. The way we construct our agendas, we group them. So the first grouping is applicants for a new wine, beer, and cider license. And item number 1, applicant number 1, 25 11th Avenue. They are, I guess they're doing business, well, it's the corporate M.R.R. Restaurant LLC, a bar and a tavern. Is the applicant here?
Hi, good evening. Yes, Ben Savitsky of Bernstein, Reno and Savitsky. How's everyone doing?
Okay, go right ahead, Ben.
I'm here on behalf of M.R.R. Rest LLC. As you said, Bert, they are the last kiosk food operator that is planning to be a part of the Pier 57 Market Hall. We've been here several times on several of the kiosks. It is at 25 11th Avenue. It's the corner of 11th Avenue and 15th Street. This is our final application for beer and wine. It's for the whole new market, which is at Pier 57. As with the other operators, we're only applying for beer and wine. It's for the individual kiosk, but additionally, it allows them to participate in the rest of the food hall and use the communal seating as well as the seating at their individual kiosk. The applicant, as you mentioned, is M.R.R. Rest. They currently operate a restaurant in Brooklyn in Crown Heights called Ross Plant Based. It's organic farm to table plant-based Ethiopian cuisine. Milka and Romeo are on the call tonight. They could explain it to you a little bit further, but we did include a menu with our packet. The operators were inspired to start this business when they were growing up and they saw their grandparents make simple but flavorful recipes, Ethiopian cuisine that's been passed down from generations to generations. They're currently serving it in their restaurant and they're excited about serving it here at Pier 57. As with the other ones that we've been here before on, it's a fully enclosed space. There's no operable windows. The entrance to the space is either through the main concourse of the building or on the pier itself. Each space is its own stand-up bar, each kiosk. So we have one stand-up bar. But again, you're going to get food and drinks at the bar and you could either eat there or you can go to some of the communal seating. Our hours of operation are the same as the rest of the food hall. It's 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. We don't actually expect every kiosk to stay open till 10 p.m. or open at 8 a.m., but it does give them the flexibility and the consistency from kiosk to kiosk. We're only using recorded background music and there is no outdoor seating. The operators are here. They're excited to join this neighborhood and we hope that the project opens soon and everyone can experience it.
Do the operators want to add anything, Ben?
Hi, yes. So I'm Romeo and this is my wife, Milka. We are the operators of M.R.R. Rest LLC, doing business as Ross Plant Based. And as our attorney said, we're very excited to be part of the Pier 57 food hall. I don't know much. I don't know what to add because he said it all.
Okay,
Yes.
very good.
Welcome to this Community District 4.
Thank you.
Bert, I don't have anything on this one.
Okay, anybody on the committee have any questions? Okay, Nellie, do we have anybody from the community with a raised hand?
No, there's no one.
Okay, I think we'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Present not eligible? Wendy, you're present not eligible. Understood. And abstaining? Okay. Good luck, guys.
Thank you so much.
Welcome to Chelsea.
Thank you.
Okay,
All right, we hope we'll see everyone.
good. You
Aye.
probably will.
Yeah, Nellie, Inga's raised her hand. I guess is she in the main? Oh yeah, there she is.
I just wanted to say, I'm sorry I'm late. I didn't want to vote because I came in too late. So on that one, thank you. Sorry.
Welcome, Inga. Okay, that was the only applicant we had in our group 1. Now the group 2, new liquor, wine, beer, and cider license, full liquor licenses. So the first one in this group is 500 West 33rd Street, also known as 20 Hudson Yards. Applicant, lawyer?
Yep. Is this for Bond Street, unit 507?
This is unit 507. We have it down as RU 507.
Yep, that's correct. Okay. So introduce myself. I'm Zach Chodorow with Triangle Management, and my partner, Jonathan M.R.R. is here as well. Jonathan, are you on mute? So we're hoping to open a new location of Bond Street, which Jonathan has been running on Bond Street since 1998. He can obviously tell you a lot more about the concept and sort of style of dining we're proposing. And we're applying for full liquor. We're applying, in a space that was previously licensed. We're applying for the same method of operation as the previous applicant. No exterior doors or operable windows. It's entirely contained within the Hudson Yard Center. And I guess I'll let Jonathan tell you a little bit more about the restaurant, and then, happy to answer any questions anybody might have.
Hi, can everybody hear me?
We can.
Okay, great. Can you see me as well? Because I can't see you guys. Oh, here we go.
Now we can.
All right, great. Thank you. Pleasure meeting all of you via Zoom. So yes, as Zach was saying, I own a restaurant called Bond Street. It's in NoHo on Bond Street between Lafayette and Broadway. We've been there for exactly 25 years. And we decided to open another location in New York. And obviously the location is known. And is anybody familiar with Bond Street? I mean, it's a relatively familiar restaurant in New York.
Absolutely.
Okay, great. So you know more or less what it is. It's a Japanese concept. The existing restaurant is on 3 floors. It's in a townhouse. Obviously, this will be a little bit different. And I don't know what much else to say. You want to give me a lead here, like what you're looking for in terms of the existing restaurant?
Yeah. Now, I guess I just had one question, either for you or Zach, which is, I believe the form you submitted said you were planned to have a DJ. Can you sort of tell me how that fits in, and what a DJ would be doing?
Playing background music during certain meal times, maybe on the weekends. I mean, it's definitely not something that would be, every night if we were allowed to do it. And, we're not, obviously we're a restaurant. We're not a nightclub or, anything
Right.
like that. Just
that's why I asked.
Yeah.
All right. So there still will be no dancing. You're not converting.
No. And, our lease also with Related, is pretty restrictive in terms of, not being able to do anything even, close to approaching that anyway. But yeah, it's just background music.
Thanks.
I'm
sorry.
Go ahead, Jonathan. I'm sorry.
No, at Bond Street, we, DJ is really not part of the concept. Obviously, there's zero dancing going on. The reason, we applied for DJ is, on occasion, if there's an event, if there's a party, again, I think that, it's a bit of a different area. Obviously, the requirements may be different. The clientele could be a little bit different. But by no means will we be playing DJ on a regular basis. That's not part of the concept.
Thanks. That's all I have, Bert.
Okay, Zach or Jonathan.
Yep.
Zach, you had described it. There's no windows. What?
No, there's no windows that open to the outside. The restaurants.
What floor are you on? Are you on on the 5th floor?
We're on the 5th floor.
The 5th floor. Okay, and you're taking over space that was previously licensed with the same hours, 11 a.m. to 2 a.m.
Yeah, so it was Wild Inc., which I believe was Rhubarb LLC was the license name.
Okay. Thank you. Other questions from the committee? We have anybody in the community, Nellie?
No, there's no one.
Okay. Then do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Present not eligible? And those abstaining. Okay. Go for it, guys.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank
Good
you
luck.
very much. Thanks.
Take care. Hope to
Happy
see you
Valentine's
there.
Day.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Item
Bye.
3 on our agenda is 773 10th Avenue, Frena Mediterranean LLC.
How are you? Good evening. My name is Stefan Vaknin. How are you?
Okay.
So Frena Mediterranean is in the old space where Tavern restaurant was located on the corner of 10th Avenue and 52nd Street. We are essentially reopening the same restaurant. The same chef, who I know was near and dear to many people's hearts in the community, and the same food. We're opening up essentially as a very, very similar concept. Menu is nearly identical. Of course, renewing the place, making it look nice and fresh. Similar to, I'm sorry, I'm not very familiar with what I'm supposed to say over here, but hearing what others are saying, some key points, no operable windows. We're only going to have background music. We're not going to ever have any kind of live music at the space. We've actually also have a special sound insulated ceiling that we've installed to limit any noise up to the tenants upstairs. The place was previously licensed for many, many years. We are asking for even less hours than what was previously provided. So I know that the old restaurant had the ability to operate until 4 a.m. We're asking until 2 a.m. And that's for the interior only. For the exterior seating, we will be stopping at midnight. Our regular operating hours will be from noon to 2 a.m. Monday through Thursday. And then on weekends, we're going to hopefully operate from 10 a.m. on a brunch schedule as well. If I've missed anything, forgive me. It's my first time meeting with community board, so I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you. So I don't know if the committee is aware of this, but Tavern was essentially destroyed by a fire, which also drove a lot of the residents out of that building. I can't remember the details, but were there concerns that had been started because of the whatever kind of oven they had in Tavern? I can't remember if it was wood burning.
That was essentially a theory, but from what I understand from the building itself, it really was. They weren't really sure, but it was most likely because of the electrical lines that were run in the building in the past. They weren't run properly, and that's probably what caused the fire. But the Tavern oven, according to the fire chief, if I'm not mistaken, from what I heard in the past, was not the reason for the fire.
Okay.
That being said, we did actually agree with the landlord, who I'm sure that you guys know very well, Joe Restuccia, that we are not going to have a wood burning oven in the space. It will be a gas fired oven. It's a UL rated oven. So everything will be per code. It's like a standard kind of pizza oven, as you would see in many pizzerias. But that is part of the application. Yes.
Okay, thanks. I had just a couple of minor questions about the form you submitted. Do you have that in front of you?
I do, yes.
Yeah. So on page 1, when they ask if you've been involved in other establishments like this, you had 418 Restaurant LLC.
Correct.
But then you said when you were involved, you said not applicable. So were you involved in that and didn't?
Oh, I'm sorry, that was a mistake over here from my admin. Yeah, that is a restaurant that my family still currently owns and operates. Okay. And that's located on the Upper West Side.
All right, so I'll just put currently to answer that.
Sure. Yeah.
Then on page 2, on the capacity numbers, we don't have. Do you know what the capacity is on the C of O, and what's the maximum number of people you expect? It seems to be blank on this form.
I will confirm what the C of O says, but I believe we are for sure less than what the C of O says. Okay. I know that our architect has done the calculations about what's allowed, and that's 68 seats. And so we plan to stick to that number or less. I don't think
that's 68 seats or 68 people, because you currently have 68 seats, but you're going to need staff as well. I expect the C of O maybe 74. But if you could get us, just email the capacity number on the C of O to the board office, that would be great. And if you do that by February 21.
Okay, sure.
Okay. And then I know our forms sort of gotten confusing as the outdoor dining has changed. You filled out the page for a DCA approved sidewalk cafe, but those don't really exist anymore. If you do anything outside now, it would be under open restaurants. And then at some point in the future, there'll be a new system, but it seems far from clear who's going to be administering this, but it probably won't be DCA. So the form the page you should have filled out was the previous form, the outdoor items other than Sidewalk Cafe.
Okay, that's page 2 in the center over here.
That's page 6.
Oh, I'm sorry, page 6.
Yeah. And I think it's, most of the questions are basically the same. So I'll just transfer your answers over there. The one question, the one thing I wanted to flag for the committee is that we usually ask Sidewalk Cafes to be closed by 10 p.m. on weekdays and 11 p.m. on weeknights. You're asking to be open until midnight.
Just to clarify, this is for a sidewalk cafe, sorry, this is for a like the street side dining you're talking about? You're talking about on sidewalk.
Well, anything on the sidewalk or in the roadway currently is authorized under the open restaurants.
Okay.
Sidewalk cafe licenses don't really exist anymore, and then not being given out anymore. So you are proceeding under the open restaurants program for your sidewalk seating. And we typically ask that places close at 10 and 11. I don't know if anyone has concerns about the midnight closing, but I wanted to flag that. Christine, do you remember, does open restaurants allow everyone to be open till midnight?
I think it's 11.
11, okay.
I think it's 11 across the board.
I tried to find that today. And
you couldn't find it?
the information is so outdated and confused now. It's
right.
I wonder no one knows what they're doing with open restaurants.
I'll check on that right now, but I would prefer if it was 11 across the board on this one.
All right. How do you feel
about
that?
You are saying something, but
Yes, I agree with Christine.
right.
Okay, so basically losing the hour or so.
Right.
That's what we're asking for.
Well,
Right. It's actually longer than we traditionally urge people to close at 10 on Sunday to Thursday. So it's actually a little longer than we ordinarily do.
Okay, thank you for that.
Are you okay with the 11?
You're okay with that and agree to it?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's fine. I mean, that's what if
Okay.
you guys usually are asking until 10 and you're giving me to 11, I don't say thank you,
Okay, thank you. Any additional questions, Frank, do you have?
Well, I'll ask the one Christine was going to ask. You didn't answer the question about whether you're going to have a storm enclosure on page 5. And by that we mean, one of those plastic vestibule, plastic
Right.
things.
On the sidewalk?
Yeah, are you going to have one?
Well, yeah, so we are going to have one. I think that there are some rules that we have to abide by that you guys can publish to us. Is that correct?
That's what I was just going to ask you. So the rules are that it can only extend 18 inches from the front of your building.
Okay.
Actually, much narrower than most of the ones you see.
Okay, so it has to be kind of like a hybrid interior exterior kind of thing to really maybe work out well.
Yeah, or like have a curtain inside and the 18-inch thing outside. I mean, 18 inches is basically enough for someone to get inside it and then open the door to your actual restaurant.
Okay.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I mean, that's what it is. I mean, it's nothing to be okay with.
Frank, I have a question about that because I have observed recently that a restaurant who said that they were not going to have storm enclosure as instead enclosed the whole sidewalk.
Yeah, I've seen that as part of like an enclosed outdoor
I'd just
dining.
like to ask that question, are you going to enclose or not? Because I mean, that just consume an enormous amount of space.
Oh, I mean, we have to do what's allowed. I mean, it's if
right.
I'm trying to be a neighborhood individual and work with everyone and flourish and thrive, why would I want to do anything that will just
I'm just asking this.
No, I hear you. I mean, we want to be good neighbors, right. and not upset anyone, basically.
Right. So we would prefer if you had the sidewalk cafe outside and not enclosed.
Okay, I mean, that's fine.
Okay, not enclosed with any plastic or anything.
Okay. Okay, so
that's structure like.
Frank, we need to start to ask that question because this is very upsetting.
Right. I noticed that place near you, Christina. has
Yeah.
a massive one.
And then immediately the restaurant next door
Yeah.
did that too.
And they were the ones who told us they really wanted the tables out there just sort of for advertising and
Right.
they would
Right.
ever be used.
It's huge. It's
yeah.
huge.
Yeah, what they end up doing is building another structure. It's an actual structure.
Right.
It's not,
It's an enclosed cafe. I
Right.
mean, it's not.
it's like another room. for the
Right.
rest.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Okay.
Thank you, Christine.
Any additional questions from committee members? And the community, Nellie?
There's no one.
Okay.
Okay,
Busy.
just to summarize, so you'll get us the C of O number in the next week or two, or
Yes.
next week. And
By
then
February 21st, yeah.
yeah, we'll add these stipulations. All outdoor seating will be closed and vacated to patrons no later than 11 p.m. Any sidewalk dining will not be enclosed in any way. And any storm enclosures shall extend no further than 18 inches from building facade.
Okay, I agree with that.
Okay,
Do we have a motion now incorporating those stipulations?
motion.
Is there a second? Inga? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Present not eligible? Abstaining. Okay. Well, these are our recommendations in the letter with those stipulations, and we'll go on to the full board.
All right, thank you so much.
Welcome.
good luck.
Thank you.
luck.
Have a good evening.
Okay. Item 4 on our agenda, 635 West 42nd Street. This is identified as a catering facility. Hours of operation 8 a.m. to 3 a.m., 7 days a week. The applicant here or their lawyer?
Yes, I'm here, Stacy Weiss.
Hi, Stacy.
Hi, how you doing?
Hey. And the applicant is that
He's
you?
right there, Laron.
Laron.
One of the applicants though is not able to access. He's on as a what is he on as?
Yeah,
Uh,
he's on
As an attendee instead of a panelist?
Yep.
Can he identify or she identify herself? And
Gil, can you raise your hand? Just click on the raise hand.
Gil Ohana?
Yes.
Yeah, Nellie, could you move Gil Ohana over to the meeting?
Yes.
Thank you.
there we are. Okay.
Okay, so Gil Ohana and Henry David are both owners of the new catering hall, LGY Concepts. It's been a catering hall for many, many years. As a matter of fact, I licensed the last people that were there. And it's going to be strictly catering hall. They would like to have the hours of 8 a.m. to 3 a.m. They're going to have 2 bars, 2 customer bars and 2 service bars. They're going to have, the place holds 460 people. And they would like to have live music, a DJ and background music, of course. And they're going to have dancing. So, and they both are very experienced operators. I'm going to let Laurent talk a little bit about himself and about what he's done in the past as far as his experience is concerned. Laurent?
Sure. Hi, everybody. I'm Liron. Born and raised Upper West Sider, so I'm a city boy. And I've been producing events for about 20 years. I own a company called Eventique. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Good. I own a company called Eventique, produce events all across New York and all across the country. So I've been in the event business speaking and as an industry expert. And 4 years ago, almost 5 years ago, I had been looking for venues because I've been booking venues for many, many years. And I couldn't find what I wanted as an event producer. And so Gil and I have worked in the event business. He is an owner of an event space for many, many years. And so we've worked together for about 15 years, producing events in his venues. And together we decided to open up our first event space in Chelsea on 25th Street. And it's a very successful, unique space with projection built for art events, corporate meetings, conferences, product launches for everything from jewelry brands to fashion, and along with some social events, bar mitzvahs, weddings. And this is our second venue that we're very excited about opening. It's an iconic space for New York that's definitely been known on 42nd Street, right between 11th and 12th Avenue. And we look forward to opening the space with a fresh, clean look that brings innovation to the neighborhood and that gives people an opportunity to have some fun in a really fresh, inviting, unique, and safe space. So that's my background. I'm going to pass it to Gil just to talk a little bit about his background. Gil?
He might be
Gil,
muted.
You need to unmute, Gil.
Okay, perfect. Good evening. My name is Gil Ohana, and I am doing events. I would say my last space was from 2009 to 2019, and then, as Leron mentioned, we joined venture in 2019. Until currently, I'm also running. I have a lot of experience in New York City in restaurants for about since 1994. All of them has a successful and has a liquor license as well. I very involved in all the event aspect as day to day, making sure everything is run smoothly. Is it for the catering side or staff, etc.
Okay, Gil, what were you involved? What places were you involved in before 2019?
So from 2009, we had a space in 404 10th Avenue, which is in the Brookfield building, the one they renovated with the beautiful glasses.
Mm-hmm.
So I was the tenant from 2009 until the lease was over. And then we have a space on 541 West 25th Street in Chelsea under L&L, which is Prudential L&L as well.
Okay. Thank you. Stacy, I have a couple of questions about your submission. Page 4, you said that a public assembly permit isn't required.
No, it is. Yeah, that's a mistake.
Yeah, because you had it required before. And then in your prior submission, you had both a sort of traffic management plan and a security plan. I was wondering if these clients were going to follow those, or if you submit an equivalent. I think the traffic management was something we particularly cared about at the time.
Yeah, they'll follow their security plan. I mean, it's a big space, so they're going to have to.
Yeah. Well, can you submit a security plan and a traffic management plan? We'll need it by February 21. So basically a week.
Okay, no problem. Leron, you got that? You need a.
Yes.
You need to submit those two things. Okay.
Yeah. And Leron, Stacy can send it to you, but the prior people in this space had both of these. You could just use that as a basis. See if you're that are really just sign up for that one if you like it.
That's a good idea. Yeah, I'll take a look. I'll look it up in my file.
Yeah. And Stacy, if you don't have it, you can get it from Nellie.
Right. I have one general question, and I see Christine has her hand raised. I don't know that block very well, and I know you're following in the steps of a previous catering operation. Are you a standalone building? Because I know there are a lot of residential buildings on that block. So where exactly are you in relation to the residences?
I think there's some photos in the application we sent in.
It's very possible, Stacy. I just arrived. I haven't seen it.
Okay, let me see.
I was away for
the last couple of pages.
I was away for a while, Stacy. So if you can give me a verbal.
I can describe
Thank you,
it.
Leron.
I can describe it. So coming from 42nd Street and 11th Avenue, on the north side of 42nd Street, there's the new Sky building that has the Yayoi Kusama art piece in the front. The next building over is the Atelier building, which is also a residential. After the Atelier, our building is it's connected, but it's a standalone. So above our space, there's a mezzanine because we're double height. And above us is a garage, a parking lot, which enters from 43rd Street. And then above that is an outdoor terrace for the building residents of the Atelier. So there's no one above us, but yes, there is someone more east. And on the west side of us is a pizza restaurant with residential.
And I believe there's an apartment building across 42nd Street too, right? On the south side of the street.
South side of the street.
River Place.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I got a sense. Thank you. Christine,
So yes, I need a little help here. I'm confused. It says, so the total occupancy is going to be 460? Or
Yes,
is it
that's
460
yeah.
in each of the room?
No, total.
No, total.
Total, so I don't know why I was confused about that. Okay, and then, so what have you done about sound mitigation? Because I don't know, I mean, you're going to do dancing, you're going to do a lot of activity there, and it's presumably until 3 o'clock unless we don't support that, but that's a concern for the people on the right and on the left and across the street.
So we have insulation, sound insulation in the ceiling that's about 2 feet thick that was installed from the previous tenant in order to avoid the sound issues that the tenant before that had. So that was installed. We also installed on the mezzanine additional soundproofing. And the space has not had any complaints from a sound perspective in the last operator.
So
Right.
what about
when you say you mean the prior operator installed that? And that was how long ago? How long was the prior operator there? Stacy, do you remember?
Probably, I would say 8 years ago, maybe 7,
Well,
8 or 9 years ago.
They closed just before the pandemic, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And
So yeah, they've been closed for a while, a couple of years.
So what about the facade? The facade is in glass?
The facade is solid building. There is some doors that lead in that are regular double glass doors.
Okay. And so how do you manage your, 630 people and you do a lot of events? How are the people going to come in? Are they going to queue on the sidewalk, or are they, what's going to happen there?
So our building stretches, I don't have the exact measurement, but I can give it to you and I can pull it up now. But it stretches a long space along 42nd Street. We also have a pre-function space that everybody enters that has a coat check and a welcome area. And then you make your way into the main space. So the traffic flow for the average event that we expect to book in the space is probably about 300 to 350 people in terms of like a sit down dinner, right? That has a cocktail hour before. So they make their way in, you not 350 people all at the same time.
But I'm saying that there is no reason to believe that there would be a queue on the sidewalk. Is that what you're saying?
That's correct, unless there was an event that rented the space that decided to apply for a permit for an outdoor tent if there was a red carpet, but that would be something.
So that's part of your method of operation? You're going to rent the space to other events?
Correct. So we build the space, we serve food and beverage. We built it out with projection, lighting, sound, so that we can control the technology and especially the sound, because we don't want to give anybody else the opportunity to have control of a sound system. So that way we limit it, but everybody comes in, we offer them tables and chairs, and the menu is customized and they can bring in whatever decorator they want and whatever entertainer they want.
So going back to the queue on the sidewalk, how can you write your contract or whatever, so this is avoided? I mean, is there a way that we could achieve that?
If I'm going to give an example, if it's an art gallery opening, right? And everyone's registering and we don't allow them for safety reasons into the building unless they're an invited guest, right? So there's security at the front, which means that if you have 15, 20 people that are waiting to come into a gallery opening, we want to vet them. We want to make sure that they're supposed to be there. And they would line west along our building and not towards the residential.
But let's say it's about dancing. So people show up and a lot of people show up at, 1 o'clock or midnight.
They can't. This is
No.
a catering hall. It's only for invitees.
No, it's
Correct.
private.
It's private
Okay.
private
All right.
events.
That's good. That's good.
Can I say something if I have a chance?
Yeah, go.
Okay, so Christine, for the sound, we hired the company that ran the event space before COVID. They ran only the sound. So I specifically hired them to control the sound level so you won't have any interference with the neighbors. They know the sound, they know the level of the sound, they know that we purchased, I think we invested about $150,000 for the right speakers, small subwoofers, because vibration can cause something, not the sound. The sound will never trouble. So we got a small subwoofers, everything is, so we're not allowed another sound system to come into the space.
Okay.
The neighbor west to us, he actually gave a reference letter which we attached. He owns the building. It's a very small building, but he owns the building for 60 years. So we got friendly with him, and I asked him, what's the history? And he says, never had problems. He says, whenever you need, just let me know. And I said, if I ever have, because the nature of the events, there's no line. There's never a line. If people come for wedding, they don't come at once. They come like, 10 people, 5 people at a time, and they also live sporadically. So I said, if there is ever a line, I will just let you know and ask you if it's okay. He says, no problem. Whatever you need, just let me know. So we're very respectful. We're very professional. We make sure that, believe me, I don't want to get any phone calls. I don't want to get any trouble. We got friendly with the super and everybody in the building. It's going to be smooth.
Okay, I have one more question. So on your application, you say, will applicant use a storm enclosure? You did not answer that.
Sorry, the what?
The storm
Yes.
enclosure. Yeah, are you gonna have that, Gil?
What is that?
Laurent?
Storm, there's no storm enclosure. The one thing the landlord made us aware of was because we have some glass doors that are on 42nd Street, to do some sealant along the bottom. So if there's overflow from the river that comes up 42nd Street, that.
Right.
But you're not gonna put plastic enclosure, right? No plastic enclosure?
No plastic enclosure.
Nothing extruding into the street. That's what we're talking about.
Those booths that people put up in the winter.
Oh,
around.
no, definitely not. No.
You're not gonna have that.
We have an
we're not
interior
doing anything
vestibule.
outside.
Yeah, we have an interior vestibule that has 2 doors.
Yeah, we don't do anything outside.
Okay.
So I'm done.
So Stacy,
Okay.
we'll answer the storm enclosure question with a no.
Right.
Oh, yeah, you can put a no.
Okay. Anybody else? Any other committee members? Questions? Okay, Nellie, community?
There's no one.
Okay, so we have 2 additional steps. The applicant will submit a security plan and a traffic
Yes.
management plan to CB4 office by February 21, and any sidewalk queuing will be limited to the west of the venue's entrance.
Correct.
And there will be no storm enclosure.
Yeah,
No.
well, yeah.
Well, they're gonna mark that
Right.
down.
Mark that down.
Okay, all in favor? Oh, wait, before I even ask that question, do we have a motion?
Second.
Okay, Candace was seconding Christine's motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Was that a delayed hand, Jesse, or was that an opposition?
Delayed hand.
Delayed
Support.
hand, okay. Okay, opposed, present not eligible, abstaining. Okay, it passes, goes on to the full board March 1st.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Have a
Thank
good
you,
evening.
Everybody.
Thanks.
Have a
Frank,
nice
you gonna
evening.
get me the, you want me to send it directly to you, the traffic and the security plan? when
I
we
know,
get-
send it to Nellie and she'll send it
Okay.
around to us.
Okay, very good. All right. Thank you very much. Have a good
Thank you,
evening.
everybody.
Bye.
Good evening then. Moving on to our third major grouping, which is existing facilities, changing the method of operation. We have the first one is 59 at the Chelsea Piers, the Golf Lounge. They're asking for an extension of their liquor license. They want to add the exterior second floor golf driving range. Okay, and the mezzanine. Okay, applicant.
Yep. Hi,
Donald?
Bert. I'm
Okay.
Donald Bernstein on behalf of this licensee. This is Chelsea Piers. This is now the third time we've come before you, first originally for our license, then we did an alteration, and now we're adding some more space. So you'll recall that there were actually 2 levels of outdoor golf bays that were licensed along with indoor space. It gets confusing the way they're labeled, but the 2 floors are actually the ground floor and the mezzanine, or what we call first floor and first floor mezzanine. Those are currently licensed. This application is to add 2 more levels. It's confusing the way they're labeled, but it's labeled as the second floor and the second floor mezzanine. But if you put them all together, there will now be 4 levels of outdoor golf bays that will be licensed. The method of operation is the same. The closing hour is the same. Nothing is changing. We're just adding on those additional floors. There are 13 bays on each of those levels.
So Donald, I'm trying to visualize. So I walk by and there are different levels. Everybody is hitting their golf balls, golf clubs with their, hitting it out there. So now are you basically saying that every level then will be in the mezzanine part serving alcohol?
Yes, the 2 floors that we're adding, the 2 golf bays, are principally are going to be they're open all the time, but the alcohol service will principally be limited to when groups book the golf bays. It's not a private event; it's just a private booking. There may be some service when it's open to the public, but principally that's what it's for. But yes, with that understanding, all 4 of those levels will have food and beverage service.
And how does it work, Donald? Is there like a bar on each floor, or is it waiter service?
No, it's on those 2 floors that we're adding. If it's private, they bring a service bar, and then they'd be able to serve people there with staff there.
Got it. Okay.
When you say it's not open to the public, so if I'm just an individual going there to hit the golf ball, would I have access to any of these
Yes,
services?
I may have misspoke. It is open to the public. Anybody can play golf up there. The plan is not necessarily to have alcohol service when it's open to the public on those 2 upper levels, day in and day out. They may have that, but principally it's for if you have a group of people and you want to book a certain number of bays, you can make a reservation, you can book it, order food and beverage service, and they would staff it for you and bring a service bar and serve alcohol there.
Okay, I think I understand. Thanks, Donald. Additional questions, Frank? Anybody from the?
Nothing for me.
Anybody else on the committee? Nellie from the community?
There's no one.
Okay. Do I hear a resolution?
To approve, and I have to say, I reached out to them. They did do community outreach and they were quick to respond to any of our questions, so.
Good, good. It's good to hear that. Ted, are you seconding it?
Yeah.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, opposed, present not eligible, abstaining. Okay. Golf away.
All right, thanks.
Okay. Item number 6, 515 West 18th Street. Okay, it's the 515 West 18th Street Eatery. They want to add a new portion of the ground floor to the currently licensed space. Can we hear an explanation of that?
Sure. This is
Oh,
mine.
Ronald is here as well. Okay.
Yep, and Kobe Levy is here. He is the owner. The restaurant is Cucina Alba. And it is on the corner of 18th Street and 10th.
Guys, how are you?
Kobe's here. And
Welcome back.
it's a full-service restaurant. Kobe has a number of other restaurants. When we were before you a couple of years ago, I think the only issue was tweaking some of the outdoor DOT seating, which we did. I don't think there were any issues with the interior restaurant. Kobe was given an opportunity to expand the restaurant, so he is taking space, I guess, on the northern side of that building and adding in a private dining room, a prep kitchen, and another bar. And there will also be some DOT seating that we will apply for that's outside that new portion of the space, also on 10th Avenue. So the space that's being added consists of 32 tables with 74 seats, one stand-up bar with 8 bar stools, and then some seating along 10th Avenue. The hours remain the same. The operation remains the same. Nothing else has changed.
Okay. This may be a question for Kobe, but so you recall the issue with the outdoor, the sidewalk seating was we asked you and you agreed to take away 2 tables around each of the tree pits, right?
Yep.
Okay, are there any trees opposite your new seating area?
We did the exact same. We did the same. I did the exact same setup for you guys. And in fact, I ended up taking, just so we're clear, just from a design standpoint, I ended up taking away like 20 seats. So we have far less than we applied for. We ended up cutting it down just from a service standpoint. And so same.
Well, I'm looking at your.
I'll follow the same setup.
Okay, because I'm looking at your floor plan and it looks like you have 2 rows of 4 tables each. There's no indentation in the floor plan you submitted. So is that because the trees are,
the trees in front of our door? But again, like that's what our architect did as of right, but we actually just in practice we're just using less.
Okay, can you get us a floor plan in the next week that sort of shows
no problem
where the tables are going to be and where the trees are in the new place?
No problem.
Okay, and that'll be by the 21st. And Donald, just a couple of technical things. Last time there was the usual additional stipulation about a storm enclosure not extending more than 18 inches. You'll agree to that again, right?
Yeah, it's fine.
And then the other thing I noticed, we didn't even ask for this, but your prior submission to us said you were going to get a sound study from Acoustalog and implement that. Did that end up happening?
In the end, we didn't even need it because of the way related built forced us to build. It became an internal issue for me and the landlord anyway. So I went above and beyond with them.
How long have you been open now?
August.
That's what I have, Bert.
Okay, I see Christine has her hand up.
Yeah, that second what Frank was saying, we'd like to see a drawing of the outdoor space.
No problem.
Okay. Anybody else on the committee?
By the 21st.
Yeah, anybody else on the committee? And from the neighborhood, Nellie?
No, there's no one.
Okay. Do I hear a motion?
Okay, well, just
yes.
Sorry, I just want to make sure I'm clear because I'm just looking at the photos, which are easier for me to. So that first floor there, that's residential, right? Like right above you guys, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And you spoke to them, you spoke to the people there, and I mean, you did you have conversations with them about if, you know,
Oh,
any
yeah.
concerns on their part?
We hosted, I hosted the Super Bowl party, I hosted the New Year's party, I hosted the holiday party. I mean, almost every night we have at least 5 to 10 people who live upstairs coming in, so.
Okay.
We have, like, they're very, like, everyone is very happy that we're there.
Got it. Yeah, I figure. And I think, you know, it's such a new building. I imagine those windows are, you know, are pretty well soundproofed up there as well. All right, thanks.
Toby, is this new space in the same, is it also in the same building in the?
We always had the space. We were using it, because we needed it we built, the prep kitchen was built originally anyway, so we just had this additional space that we just decided to turn into a private dining room because they had it anyway.
Got it. So it's all in the Lantern building.
The space is contiguous.
Yeah, okay. All right, so Donald, the only additional step, well, there'll be two. The storm enclosure will extend no more than 18 inches from the building facade. And the applicant will submit to the CB4 office by February 21, a revised floor plan of the new sidewalk seating, showing the locations of the sidewalk trees and all sidewalk seating.
Yeah, okay.
I'd also like to request that the dog is more prominently displayed on camera. But perfect. There, hold there. Excellent. Love to see it. Thank you.
Here's the phone ringing. He's just looking around.
You want to know the dog's name, Jesse?
Yes, I do. Great follow-up, Bert.
This is Prince.
Prince.
Great, thank you very
Welcome
much.
to the Community Board.
Glad you could attend.
Business License and Permits Committee, Prince.
He'd be happy to show up every week as needed.
Okay.
Thank you guys. Have a good Valentine's Day. Appreciate you guys taking the
Well,
time.
we haven't voted yet, I don't think.
Well,
Do we have the motion?
thank you regardless.
We have a motion. Christine? And a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? Present not eligible? Abstaining. Okay.
Guys, come in for dinner. We'd love to see you guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Good night.
Thank you.
Bye, Prince.
Okay, item number next is 7 on our agenda. 72 7th Avenue, known as District 727, Inc. Their change in method of operation is additional hours in the evening, different nights later than currently. The applicant here?
Yes, my name's Barry Fox. I'm a lawyer and I represent the applicant. And Bennett Page or Michael Geddes is also here. And it's really a very simple application. And they've been in the area with community support for now 3 to 4 years. They've been open. They were licensed by your board, approved by your board rather. And all they really want to do is just be open for 1 extra hour a day because it's going to help them financially quite a bit. And everything else is going to remain the same. I think you can see from the submission that there's community support. To my knowledge, there have been no complaints. I've been told that there have been no complaints regarding the business and that it's just a very simple request.
Okay. So
in my mind, maybe not yours.
Yeah. Barry, when you when the applicant came before us before, I see you say you've had your outdoor seating open until midnight.
I've been told that it's been open till midnight and that there have been no complaints.
And is that something you discussed with us, or did this all happen during open restaurants?
I believe Michael's here or Bennett is here, but I believe that all happened through Open Streets program. In the submission, you should have a copy of the approval from DOT for the Open Streets program. There are no hours listed there.
Okay, so it was whatever the open restaurants program allowed at the time.
That's what I've been told. Yeah.
Yeah. So for the committee, the only thing I noticed here is that they're asking to continue having their outdoor seating open until midnight nightly.
Okay. I see Christine has her hand raised.
Yes, I'm wondering why the kitchen hours are not extended further.
Well, the kitchen hours were I was advised, always the kitchen was going to close 2 hours before the restaurant closed. Michael, Bennett, is that correct? You have to unmute yourself. Okay, so they're not participating, but I was told that everything is being extended 1 hour. The kitchen is being open for an extra hour. You have the prior submission, which I don't believe I have. I didn't participate in the license 4 years ago or whenever it was. But I'm being told.
What
Pardon me?
was it, Frank? Do you have that?
No, Nellie wasn't able to find it either.
Right. So anyway, it seems it's a little concerning to me that, you know, the kitchen is closed at 1 a.m. and it's open until 3 a.m. That's generally what we like to do, is have the kitchen open as long as the place is open, or at least as long as, And so I'm just concerned about that. And then
Yes.
That's it.
I do see Michael is here, but he's muted. Does he want to contribute to the conversation? Michael?
Michael, can you unmute yourself? But again, the reason that they're asking for the extension of the hours, as it was explained to me, is that if someone comes in, maybe a little bit, Michael is texting me.
Hey,
he's trying to.
Can you guys hear me now?
Now we can hear you, Michael.
Oh,
There he
okay.
is.
We couldn't. Sorry, this is Bennett Page. We could not figure out how to unmute. We're here now. Barry, if you don't mind. Yes, the reason.
Go right ahead. You explain it, please.
The reason the kitchen hours are as they are is that the kind of dining we do, we don't want to rush people. And because if we were to seat up until the time that our license allowed us to be open, we would have to essentially kick people out as they were in the middle of their meal. So we found that 2 hours across the board, it's what we've done in all of our locations. We found over the many years is that we found that 2 hours is a good window. That because if we seat up until that period. So if you look at us on Open Table, our kitchen and our hours will be open until 2 hours before. It means we seat up until that time, which in reality means that the kitchen will be open about a half an hour past that, because we give people a chance to sit down, order a drink, and then order some food. But that's the reasoning for the kitchen being open to that time rather than all the way to the end.
And was your prior stipulations with us, did the kitchen also close 2 hours earlier?
Yes, nothing's changed from our previous stipulation or our previous application.
No, it did change.
So before, for example, you used to close at midnight on Sunday to Thursday, but the kitchen would have closed at, no, sorry. So let's look at Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You used to close at 2 and the kitchen would close at midnight?
Yeah, the kitchen closed at midnight.
Okay, so now you're asking for the kitchen to go to 1 and the closing hour to go till 3.
Correct.
Okay, so the kitchen moves up 1 hour so that it's consistent with the time between closing of the kitchen and closing of the restaurant.
Correct.
Same as before, just the same 2 hour differences.
It's the same. It's everything's the same. It's just being hopefully 1 hour. Yes.
1 hour up. Okay, does that explain, Christine, answer your question?
Vaguely. Okay.
I mean, to be frank, the reason we need, or we're asking for this extension, is that we are in direct competition with places like Copelia, which is right around the corner, and Cafeteria, which is a couple of blocks north of us. And what happens is, and we hear this from our guests, is that they don't want to come in to have a bite to eat because they feel like they're going to be rushed. And when Copelia serves 24 hours and Cafeteria serves until, I think, 4, it just makes it difficult for us to compete, because if somebody wants to come in and grab a late night bite, they don't want to feel rushed. They don't want to be moved out the door. So
yeah, but I would think, Michael, I hear you, and I think it's probably right. It's certainly right, but it seems to me that if I were coming to eat at your place at 12:30 or 1 o'clock, and you tell me, oh no, you can't have anything to eat, even though you close at 3, I would not be happy either.
Well,
So-
we wouldn't do that. What we're saying is that on the nights when we close at 2 and the kitchen closes at midnight, people don't want to necessarily come in and sit down and eat right as our kitchen's closing, because they want to be able to get to the end of their meal without feeling like they need to be out the door. They want to be able to have a cup of coffee. They want to be able to have dessert.
But forget about that. What I'm saying is that I walk into the door and you can't serve me food because you have already closed your kitchen. That's what I don't get. I mean,
Well,
I think what you are saying makes sense, but there is another aspect to that, which is, people coming in and walking in and wanting to eat, and you are going to say, no, my kitchen is closed. So it's
Well, unfortunately, in our post-COVID world, with dishwashers now requiring at least $20 an hour, it makes it more difficult for us to just keep our kitchen open as long as we'd like to. We'd love to be able to stay open until the end every night, but if we did so, the amount of business we need to generate in those hours wouldn't really make it, it's not cost effective for us. Certainly
well,
not.
I just would think that, 1 more hour for the kitchen would make sense, but this is, you know your numbers and I don't know your numbers, so that's a view from a customer.
Well,
Thanks.
if we get busy enough and we start to now bring in those customers that we're losing to our competitors, we would definitely extend the kitchen hours. We're not going to be turning people away. If people want to eat, believe me, we'll serve food.
So why don't you extend the kitchen hours right now so you don't have to come back to us?
Because we don't have the money to support keeping the kitchen open. It's
You don't have to. You don't have to. You just have to have the hours.
Oh, I understand what you're saying. You mean on the application? That's fine.
Yes.
Oh, we're
Yes.
happy to do that. Yes, we're happy to do that.
In other
I'm
words,
sorry.
that gives you an opportunity. It's on the application. You don't necessarily have to
I
stay
understand.
open.
I thought we were
But
discussing.
But if sometime in the future you might want to change, you have it on the application.
Understood.
Thank you. That's
Understood.
a very good point. We
That is
appreciate
a very
that.
good point. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so we'll
And
add,
I'll come at 1 o'clock.
yeah, we'll make the kitchen hours 1 hour later for every day that you have on the form.
Yes, sir.
So I did have a
Randy.
follow-up question to
Wait.
what Christine was talking about, because I see on your website, you have your closing hours listed as, the last time you're open. In other words, 2 a.m. on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Have people come in and wanted food, or does that lead people to think they can get food? Have you had any issues with that?
Not really, no.
Pretty standard.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty standard. Most places, including all of our other locations, don't serve food up until the very last minute because there's no way because we have to get people out the door. Like we have 4 a.m. licenses in our other locations in Midtown. If we served food until 4 a.m. and somebody came in at 4 to eat, we would have to ask them to leave right after they ordered.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Okay, Wendy.
Just gonna say I live around the corner and I think they've been a really great addition to the neighborhood. I obviously don't live right above, but it sounds like there haven't been any issues, but just want to say been really great neighbors and helped to make a corner that was a little dark, nice and lively. So I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else from the committee? And Wendy? I mean, Nellie, sorry.
There's no one from the community.
Okay. Do I hear a
Motion.
motion? Do we, anything you want to summarize, Frank, before we have a
The
motion?
only change will be extending the kitchen hours every day by 1 hour for what's on the form, which would have the kitchen closing 1 hour earlier than the total operation.
Okay. All those in favor, who's making the motion?
I did.
Oh, Mike? And, okay, we got a set. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, present not eligible, abstaining. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Have a good night.
Nice night.
Penultimate, 474 9th Avenue. Kamapa Limited.
Hi, everybody.
It's also, again, a change of hours.
Hi, everybody. I'm Marco. I'm the partner in this business. My partner has already Mercato restaurant in the 39th Street and Olivo restaurant in 28 between the 5th and Broadway. So we basically are a restaurant with also a bar, full bar, as you guys know, and we're just asking for a standard hour of operation to 2 a.m. just to give us flexibility. Also because right now kitchen close, we're closing the kitchen at 11 right now, and we're planning to close later, 1 hour later, the full kitchen, and we can also have a appetizer station in the front, which where we serve just charcuterie, affettati, salumi, and we would like to extend the operation.
Okay. Marco, I'm confused. Did you say you want to extend it to 2 a.m.?
Yeah, I know there was a confusion at the beginning because the first, the lawyer sent to 4 a.m., but we don't need that. Even in Mercato, we already have the 2 a.m. License. So what we need is to 2 a.m.
Okay,
2 a.m. 7 days
There
a
was a
week.
confusion at the beginning. We have an exchange of email, I believe, with Christina, I believe. And yes, it's all clear. What we need is just to 2 a.m. It just mostly to give us the flexibility to be able to keep the car. So yeah, we don't need that.
All right, so
That's
we'll
important
change
to
that.
know.
We'll change that to 2 a.m. And then, do you have any music in your roadway, in your outdoor space?
Just soft background. It will be the same that we do during the all day. We have a soft background.
This is,
Well, you know,
Robert, let me
open
clarify,
restaurants-
this is not an outdoor space. This is kind of a patio, which is separated from the street.
Yeah,
So it's not really an outdoor space.
No, it's within the premises. So
Right.
it's within the building. It's not an outdoor space.
And I can tell you
it's
that we
outdoor
can't-
because there's, sorry.
Right, I can tell you we can't hear it from the outside.
Okay. Oh, you cannot hear me?
No.
Oh, okay, okay. Oh, yeah, I got it.
Restaurant.
We
Yeah,
cannot
yeah, yeah.
hear the music from the outside.
Yeah, it's
very,
just
very-
soft background, yes.
So Marco, the other thing, I don't know if you have the form in front of you, and maybe you need to talk to your lawyer, but
yeah,
where we have the seating numbers on page 2.
Okay, let me check 1 second. The form I have in front of me. Okay.
So you say your capacity on the C of O is less than 74, but then you say you have 68 seats and 18 seats at the bar, which is 86, not counting the staff. So something doesn't
Or
work.
maybe there's something, I had to tell the lawyer to go
Yeah,
over.
can you ask the lawyer to get us accurate numbers
Accurate number, yes, I will.
by February
Definitely will.
21?
I definitely will.
Again, if your C of O is 74,
It's
then
74, for in my knowledge, is less than, it's 74. It's
So
not,
then-
it's 86
then
at all.
then your customer seats plus your staff has to stay under 74.
Yeah, no, it is 74. I'm
Okay,
100%
so
sure.
you
it's
just have to
74.
tell us how many seats you actually have.
Yeah,
Okay?
basically, I can seat, included the seating at the bar, 74 people.
But the 74 needs to include staff. Your capacity includes staff, not only customers, but also staff. So you gotta maybe look at those numbers, talk to your lawyer.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk to my lawyer. I'm gonna make it more accurate.
In other words, you can't, unless you had no one working there, you can't seat 74 people in the restaurant.
Yeah. I'm gonna talk to the lawyer and I'm gonna make it more accurate.
Okay, so we're gonna change the hours, the closing hours, and change the capacity in the table seating.
And
Okay.
maybe get some of your money back since he didn't do it right.
Yeah.
Christine?
No, we want to thank the applicant for being, listening to the community, and there were a bunch of emails flying, and they were very amenable to listen to our concerns. So
Yeah,
thank you.
thank you for your time too.
Okay. Anybody else from the committee? Anybody from the community, Nellie?
No, there's no one.
Okay,
Okay, so we're changing the closing hours across the board to 2 AM. And then the applicant's going to get us revised capacity and chairs and table numbers by February 21.
Okay.
Yes.
very good. Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Opposed? Present not eligible? Abstaining. Okay.
Thank you so
it's
much.
up to the full board, March 1st. Okay, our last item on the agenda, item number 9.
Thank
458.
you. Good evening, everybody.
Thank you, Marco. Good luck.
Thank you.
458 9th Avenue, the Wrecking Club.
Good evening. Hi, everybody. Rosa Ruiz, representative for the applicant.
Okay, we have a different, do you want to explain your changes in and method of operation here?
So the change to the method of operation is that he's going to be removing the break room that was in the back. And it's just going to be operated solely as a bar tavern now.
Wait, so there's going to be no wrecking of equipment anymore?
He had to take it out.
Are you changing the name or?
No, the name's staying the same. It's still saying break bar.
Okay. But I thought you
But
also
no-
wanted to change your,
Yeah.
Oh, and we want to increase the hours Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays until 4 o'clock in the morning. Right now, he's open until 2. He's been part of the community for close to 5 years now.
okay.
You also have in the application something about roadway dining.
Yes.
Can you explain that, please?
It's the enclosures in front of the restaurant.
Okay. Well, I think Bert, I think we're going to hear a lot from Christine and I think Brian Weber, who's
Okay.
um,
We'll proceed.
about the roadway dining.
Okay.
Okay.
Just one other thing before we get to that. So on page 2, your capacity numbers are smaller than they were in your original application. Was that intentional?
No, it's not intentional.
Okay, because you used to have, oh no, sorry, they're bigger. Are you putting some tables and chairs in where the wrecking room was, or?
No,
Maybe is that including the outdoor dining area?
no, let me see something. Hold on a second.
Yeah, you don't have any numbers for outdoor dining.
32.
Well, we don't have to waste time. Can you get
Yeah.
us accurate numbers for both inside and outside by February 21?
That's fine. Sure.
Okay, thanks.
That's a week from today. Okay, raised hands in the committee. Christine.
So the outdoor dining space has received a number of summons and notification from DOT, including the fact that it should be immediately removed. I have the copy of the 311 statement, and our council members has consulted with DOT, which included the same thing. And this has been going on now for, 6 months? Because we heard about that earlier. And the shed is still there, and it's still completely not in compliance and need to be removed.
Okay.
Do I have a response?
Oh. Yep, DOT just told them to remove it on Friday.
Well, I have a note from DOT on the 22nd of December, which said to remove it. So, just tell them is interesting, but I think they heard before and they didn't do it. And 2 or 3 times they told us we were wrong, and the DOT was very happy with them. So the bottom line is that has been very intrusive. And you know, I don't have a lot of trust in the operator. And I wouldn't want to extend the hours to 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock.
Okay. Do you want to address the DOT?
Yeah, I just want to address the DOT thing. So the DOT has come by a couple of times, and sometimes they have told us that we need to make changes to it, which we have promptly done. But like they told us about the windows, they told us about all these things that we needed to change. We just found out recently, and I mean Thursday, Friday of this past week, that they told us to remove the outdoor dining area.
And you know why they told you to remove is because you didn't do any of the changes they asked you to do. If you had done all the changes they asked you to do, they wouldn't ask you to remove.
What did they ask us to change? What are they saying they asked us to change that we didn't do?
Well, I think one big issue is that you've been using it for storage and not for dining, and that's been going on for months, as I understand it. And that's very clear in the rules that you can only use it for outdoor dining. The other things they asked you to do were they said your barriers were hollow and not filled with sand or soil, the storing non-dining components, which goes against open restaurants guidelines, and it extends into the 456 9th Avenue storefront. And this was evidently the second notice in mid-December.
So I think there's two things. Before Friday, we had not received anything about them telling us to take it down. Now we have received the sand barrier thing, which they did tell us, hey, these things are hollow. And we had to point out to them, they are not hollow. They're filled with sand. They're filled with big sandbags. They also gave us the DOT like barriers that we have filled with water. So when they told us that, we fixed it within the week.
Okay, how about, we have a lot of pictures that, and this is not just one person. We've had, you know, a block association and several community members that have sent us photos where you do have all this stuff being stored there that's clearly not tables and chairs.
Yes, that was something that we were doing that we were unaware that we were not allowed to do. As soon as we received, someone had texted us a photo of a pallet being stored in there, and that has not happened a single day since. We had a very stern conversation about putting stuff in there.
Yeah, and I think the community people are also concerned about the appearance of the thing. I guess it's, again, from the pictures they sent us, it's sort of covered in graffiti and looks like a...
Greg, I see we have at least one person raised hand in the community, and Jesse, you put your hand up. Did you take it down, Jesse?
Can we address something?
Wait, hold on a second, please. Candace, you have your hand raised now. Jesse, you had it before. Was that an accident?
No, I have a question, but I wanted the conversation to play out a little further before I ask it. So I'll hold.
Okay, Candace.
Hi guys. My question was regarding the sound engineering. When did you guys have this? When was the last time you guys had it? It says as existing.
Oh, so the sound report and all the soundproofing was done before he even opened, and when he was operating as the break, with the break room in the back, so that no noise would ever come outside. So the soundproofing is still exactly the same. It hasn't changed. That was all done when the place first opened.
Okay, because I've sat at the restaurant across from you guys, or next door to you guys, a little Italian Subway shop on like a Saturday afternoon, and I could hear from sitting inside there, the bar next door. So maybe you guys need to run another sound report, because I could clearly hear it from next door. And they said they can hear you guys all the time as well.
Okay, we'll look into that, because we can also hear some stuff coming from their side into ours. So we'll look into that with Sergimos as well.
Well, I don't think it should be one side versus the other. Is that you need to look at your thing and then reinforce your sound.
Sure. Yeah. Well, yeah. We'll look into that with Sergimos as well.
We need a survey. You don't need anybody else, just you. Let's not share the.
No, the restaurant.
Oh, okay.
No, let's not talk. I mean, what you're doing here is saying, oh, we're going to look with them. And then the next thing we're going to hear is like, oh, they didn't want to do anything.
No.
We are just talking to
we can have
you.
access to their space.
Okay.
Okay. Has the conversation gone as far as you'd like to go before your question, Jesse? Or should we ask someone from the community? Because I know we have at least one person from the community.
We can wait till the community and then I'll go.
Okay,
Thanks.
Nellie, can you bring, I saw Brian. Is there anybody else in addition to Brian?
Okay.
No, it's just Brian.
Okay, could you bring him over?
Yes.
Thank you. Brian, unmute. There you are.
Hello, thank you all. Yeah, there's no one else here from my block association this evening because everyone's celebrating Valentine's Day. And as the co-chair of the 36th Street Block Association, I drew the short straw, so I'm here. So I just want to clarify. So what I'm understanding from the applicant is that the sidewalk outdoor street shed will be removed per DOT guidelines, and that is going to happen shortly. Is that true?
Yes, well, that should
Okay.
be.
Okay.
What,
That's
within the next 30 days.
okay. Thank you. That's a very positive development because the only concerns that I received from the Block Association was about that sidewalk shed and that it was being used for storage. The other sidewalk shed just to the north of you was removed several months ago. That is a highly trafficked area on 9th Avenue. And so since you guys weren't using it for dining usage, we're glad that it's gone. I do want to say to the applicant's credit, I spoke with the precinct and they have not received any noise complaints or any after hour complaints. So I do want to acknowledge that they're doing a good job running the bar. I did have one other question though. You said that you're removing the break room. There on your plan has something called the throwing room. What is that?
That part is staying.
Okay, so what is the throwing room?
So you're gonna have to explain that better than I can.
Sure. So the throwing room is we have an enclosed room that's built that basically once you're done, we have disposable glasses that you can go throw at targets in there.
So that's so instead of breaking things, you're now just throwing things. Okay. And so the things that you're throwing are like glasses and plates.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but that was always there.
Only
that's
cups.
not my question. That's not my question. Let him answer, please.
Only cups. So it's sort of like a carnival where there's like a barrier that you can't cross. So.
Okay. So there are no throwing weapons like hatchets or axes.
No,
okay.
No,
okay. No. Okay. The only thing I would ask of you is now that your street shed is going away, I know that you receive these objects to throw in your throwing room via pallets that sit out on the sidewalk there. And sometimes they're delivered pre-opening hours of your location. If on those delivery days, you can have someone there to accept that delivery so they don't sit out on the sidewalk. That is a heavily trafficked area. Christine could speak to it better than I can. And we just really need that few extra feet there. So that would be appreciated. But otherwise, I haven't received any complaints about noise from your place. So I'd just like to credit you on that.
Thank you.
So there's two things that I want to say. First of all, thank you for saying that. I appreciate that a lot. As far I want to address the pallets. What we've done now, and this is fairly recent, is because I don't want to ever be an inconvenience to any of the neighbors or anything like that as well. And a couple of neighbors had said something to me about it personally. So our vendors now have keys to the bar, so they can drop it off inside and it will not be on the sidewalk. The only time that they may bring it out there is to put it down the hatch, and it will only be out there for a few moments while they unload the pallet. And I'll take that a step further. And when they do that, I'll have them do it one at a time. The other thing is about the neighbors. We give all of our neighbors my personal cell phone number. So if they ever have any issues, we want them to text and call us directly so we could jump on it. We want to be a good part of the community. So I
Yeah.
appreciate
Appreciated. We know it's a tough stretch in 9th Avenue, so we appreciate businesses that are open there. And so thank you for being there, but thank you for making these adjustments to your operations. You know, let's all sort of live harmoniously. But I'm very happy to hear that the street shed is going. That's good news. So thank you everyone on the board. Very much appreciate your time.
Likewise.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Jesse,
Hi. Just a couple quick questions. You know, I think people are addressing the outdoor shed issue and noise issues, which are typically, you know, things that this committee focuses on and certainly within our purview. But also, you know, it's important that we take into account when we grant liquor licenses, you know, the safety of patrons and the safety of the premises. So I just want to confirm a couple of things. One is you do allow those who are under age of 21 onto the premises. You just don't serve them alcohol, obviously. Can you just tell us a little bit about the steps that you use to make sure that you're not serving anyone under the age of 21?
Sure. So there's two things. When people come in, they not only sign a waiver, so everyone who comes in signs a waiver, and those who are allowed to serve alcohol get a colored wristband, and those who are not allowed to get served alcohol have a different color wristband.
Okay.
Every single person gets a wristband, unless the only times that we don't do that are when it's like 4 PM and there's like 10 people in the bar.
Okay. And then again, you know, because of the unique nature of your business, which, you know, I'm not here to get in the way of that. I think you come up with a creative idea. And, you know, I just want to make sure that we as a committee understand, you know, there are certain implications to this sort of unique idea, meaning that if someone is overserved at your establishment, you know, the consequences of that are greater than, you know, just them and their bodily autonomy, but that could really cause harm to others in your establishment. Can you just, again, walk us through, if you have additional staff beyond bartenders, who's around to make sure that your patrons aren't overserved, and if they are, that they're not able to start throwing things or smashing things? So.
Sure. So there's two things. One is we have a floater staff at all costs, and their sole job is just to monitor safety. And they just sort of roam around once it gets to busy hours, like, you know, 5:30 is usually when they start their shift. On top of that, we take our tip certification a step further than just any management or owners. Every single server, bartender, anything like that is tip certified in New York.
Okay. Appreciate that.
Of course.
Great. That's all I have on that. I don't know if anyone else has anything on safety, but thank you.
Yeah, Rose, I wanted to circle back on the soundproofing and acoustic issues, because I was looking at the original STIP form when you folks opened, and in response to the questions about whether you do a sound report, your answer was as existing. So did you ever do an acoustic report of this space?
I don't remember off the top of my head. Didn't we do an acoustic report? No, because we had to do a report, because that was the whole main reason of doing that, was to muffle the sound from anybody breaking anything.
Right. I thought that's what you said, but I'm looking at the form that you submitted, and it doesn't say that. It just says as existing, which usually means you're not doing any more work.
Well, I'd have to go back a few years to pull it up.
Okay, this was from when was this? September 30, 2021.
No. Okay, so September.
There's one earlier than this.
It would be before that.
Got it.
Okay. It would be with the original application that was filed about 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay. Nellie, can you send me that? The one before this?
I remember they did do it originally, Frank. I remember them coming. It was such a unique idea back then.
And we came with like the whole presentation, with the whole big packet, with the plan, with the acoustalog report, with everything.
Okay. So Christine, did you, well, first of all, where do you stand on the extension of hours at this point?
So
I was talking to Christine at this
point.
point.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, I would be ready to go to 3, but 4 is a big jump, and we want to see how this applicant is functioning with 3 o'clock. That would be my preference.
And do you want any kind of stip about additional soundproofing vis-a-vis the
I
place?
think based on what we just heard, I think the separation between the two businesses should be soundproofed. And then what are we going to do if the shed is not gone in 30 days?
Well, no, the shed is definitely going within 30 days.
I'm happy to sign that as like a stipulation or something like that.
Okay. So yeah,
It will definitely be gone. It's turned to,
right. The shed be gone, and that would be what I would feel personally comfortable. I mean, we on the avenue, we are trying to keep 2 o'clock. There are not a lot of people at 4. There is a place at 3 o'clock, just between 38 and 39. Going from 2 to 3 would be good. I mean, would be.
You're okay with the 2 a.m. Sunday to Wednesday?
Yeah.
And you propose 3 a.m. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
That would be my proposal, but that depends whether.
Yeah, Rosa, what do you think? What do you and your client think?
He really wants to be able to stay open until 4 o'clock in the morning, just those 3 days a week.
It's just tough to compete.
It's hard to compete with everyone else. And then he's taken away that other room and source of revenue from the back. So that's gone.
Yeah. I guess the problems I have are, it seemed like this sidewalk shed issue dragged on far longer than it should have.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to Brian, who spoke, we have a letter from the Hell's Kitchen 45th, 46th Street Block Association, that strongly objects, to extending the hours because of the way they thought your applicant behaved and, with respect to the sidewalk shed.
If I can just address it, I don't know how else to say this, but except for strongly promising that we never got a notice from them to take it down until last week. And when they asked about
that, we're not talking about taking it down. We're talking about correcting the problems they had pointed out in the weeks before the notice to take it down.
No, I know. When I was going to say that regarding the sandbags, the reason that they thought that they were empty is because the barriers were custom made and had a top to them, so you couldn't see in that they were filled with sand.
There were 5 different issues. Okay, so you keep talking about the sand.
I'm just addressing one at a time.
There were 5 different issues, including the encroaching on the bike lane, which is very visible and which, very logical. And then the last time I raised the issue, you collectively told me, no, you're wrong. There is no issue, and we'd never had DOT. So what has happened is that you have absolutely pushed back and denied a position which was very clear. And that's it. That's the way it is.
Sure. So the DOT has been there a couple times. That's why I was addressing them one by one. So I'll move past the sandbags. And I've already addressed the pallets. As far as the bike lane, we've gotten very conflicting reports from the DOT on what is supposed to be the outdoor thing of that shed, which is why sometimes we've had 2 people come by and tell us 2 different things about the windows. So at some points, it just got a little confusing on what they were telling us from the DOT. I promise you that stuff gives me anxiety being out of the policies of the DOT. It scares me and makes me anxious. It's something that when they bring up, I go into panic mode about how to fix it as soon as possible because fines scare me and the DOT scares me. It is not something I would ignore, I promise you. It is when it happens, I have like a mini panic attack on the phone.
Well, Brian, you're still here. If you can unmute. I mean, I see what people have sent on letters, but I mean, have these problems?
So I only sent one letter, and I reached out to Frank and Bert when I saw the applicant, and my request was deny unless the sidewalk shed was removed. And my issue with it was that it was being used for storage and it wasn't germane to your operation at the time. Look, I'm much easier than the BLP. I'm you know, I defer to the wisdom of the board with respect to hours and all. I will say that it wasn't Tom that replied to the emails from the community, it was his attorney. And the attorney was a touch brusque with community members. So I would just say, you know, to the attorney, work on your delivery manner. It goes a long way. You know, but like I said, my issue was that it was being used for storage. And
so let's have Tom. So Tom, what, you know, how often were you using it for storage? Was this a regular
All the
thing?
time.
Christina's right. It was on a regular basis. The person who was delivering didn't know that you're not allowed to put stuff in there. And somebody from the community board at one point had sent a photo of a pallet in there and said, you're using this as storage. And that was the last day that it was ever used as storage, because I told them that they were really going to hurt us if they put stuff in the outdoor dining area, because it's not what the DOT allows us to do. It's not what we're allowed to do that. And B, it's going to cause us problems with the community board specifically. That photo brought up fear of not having the community's approval.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you quite frankly,
Wait.
you know,
Okay.
just want to say, I mean, what I'm wrestling with is just a lot of this operates on trust. I mean, we can't go out there and enforce every stipulation in every bar and restaurant. And you know, the history with the shed just seems at best murky to me. And at worst, sort of very slow to respond. So that's what has me wavering about the request, the 4 a.m. request.
No, I understand. Well, the shed is being removed, and you know, in all the years that he has been operating there, everything's going to stay inside, and he hasn't had any issues with any of his operation on the inside and everything. So now there's not going to be anything else outside ever again. He's acknowledging where he went wrong. It's going to be taken down, so it's not going to be there anymore at all whatsoever, and everything's just going to stay inside.
And also, I hope you can tell from my demeanor right now that I take it very seriously, and I'm a bit, I think I'm just a bit caught off guard, because normally when these things come up, we are very panicky about like what to do and how to get it right. And you know, it sounds like you know, and I very much mean this. We did not find out that it's supposed to be taken down until Friday.
Yeah. No one is disputing that, I don't think.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
or the other things like the sandbags. Like I've gone through one by one and said,
yeah.
like,
Tom, no one is saying, oh no, no one here is saying there's a different description of the pillars or what's in the pillars or anything like that. I think it's accumulation, and it's what you're hearing. There's an accumulation from the last, say, 4 months, 5 months of some kind of things not seeming the way they're going, the way they seem to be should be going, and there seems to be a lack of full trust. So the issue for you, I would think, and the issue for us going forward, like you're saying, definitely, we're taking it down. Well, it would be helpful, I think, if we had a date. I'm not saying an hour to something, but if we had a date that we could say,
can you have it?
Tom said that's the date, and then on that date, all eyes will be on that block. It's gone.
So I'll tell you what I expect it to be done as soon as possible. If they do it, if I can get a company to come do it this week, then I'll do it. I mean, I will plan it for tomorrow if it can be. I'd like maybe 3 weeks just to make sure, because I have to have electric taken off and then the removal of it, but it will be 100% before the end of 3 weeks and most likely within the next 7 to 10 days.
Well, 2 weeks from now, or give minus plus, whatever.
Oh, hold on. Sorry about that.
Plus or minus is going to be the full board, March 1st.
Mm-hmm.
So today is the 14th.
Mm-hmm.
So we have February has 28 days, right? This
So
year, no,
15 days.
29, 28. That's 2
Mhm.
weeks from now is the full board. So we should have, if not gone by then, you should at least have a very specific committed date from your contractors.
That's fair.
I will fully commit to having it gone within 2 weeks. I think I can make that happen. I'm sure I can make that happen.
Okay, I really wanted to hear that. And I, not just that you're going to do it, which you had said before, but a specific time.
Okay.
Now, Ted, sorry to keep you waiting.
I was just gonna say I would not feel comfortable voting on this until, I mean, I'll vote on it, but with the idea that it's gonna be taken down before full board.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
I said I would vote in favor for some sort of hour change, and you know, the extensions that they want if the outside is taken down before full board.
Okay. So you were saying you feel uncomfortable if you didn't have something specific.
I don't, if they just gave us a date that they were gonna do it based on the trust, which it seems that they're lacking with the board, I would want them to take it down before the full board.
Okay, so I think they've agreed to take it down by the day before full board, which would be February 28th. So if they do that, we will know the morning of full board whether it's down or not. And one possible recommendation from this committee would be to give them what they want with the additional steps and hours, so long as the shed is actually down by the 28th. And if it's not, we recommend denial.
I'm okay with that. You okay?
I'm just formulating that. I don't know where the committee is on the hours issue.
Oh, someone will have to make the resolution.
Yeah, but it sounds like the applicant's okay with that, correct?
Yes.
How does everyone else on the committee feel about the 4 a.m. and, you
I'm
know?
okay with the 4 a.m.
Sorry, you're okay with it?
I am as well.
All right.
And that's all contingent upon it being down by full
The
board.
28th. Dean, do you want to make a pitch for earlier or?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay, so who would like to
All right,
make,
so let me read. where we-
summarize, Frank, summarize.
Okay. Applicant will submit revised numbers for capacity seats and tables to the CB4 office by February 21. Applicant will take steps to improve soundproofing between the neighboring restaurant. Roadway shed will be removed no later than February 28. And applicant will improve delivery search procedures to keep sidewalk clear, with deliveries moved directly and promptly inside premises.
Yes.
Yes.
And how do you say the hours condition on? I don't think we just said.
Oh, yeah, no. So those are the steps. So what I would suggest is someone make a motion that we recommend approval with these steps, which would include the hours they want, so long as the shed is removed as they agreed. And if the shed is not removed, this committee's recommendation becomes a denial.
I would make that motion.
Someone want to second that motion?
I'll second it.
It seconds it. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? All those present not eligible and abstaining. Okay. So we have a map for the next 2 weeks.
Yes.
Okay. Brian or Christine or whoever's around there, can you send an email to Nellie as soon as you see the thing gone?
Oh, yeah.
Sure. I thank the board for their wisdom and assistance. Thank you all so much. I appreciate it. And thank you, Break Bar.
Thank you, guys.
Real quick, you said you needed the updated second sheet with the number of tables and chairs, right?
Yeah, by the 21st.
Okay.
That's a week from today.
Yeah, because that has to go in the packet that goes to the full board.
Okay, no
And
problem.
it's just making
That's a
it,
logistical issue, Rosa.
just making it consistent with, because the numbers aren't the same as the last one, so I don't know what.
Okay, yeah, I'll take a look.
Okay.
Yeah, I miscounted when I was counting the tables and chairs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Very
thank
good.
you. Have a good
Thank
night.
you.
everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you all.
Have a good evening.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Bert and Frank.
All right.
Take care. Thank you.
Next
Bye.
time. Bye.
Be well.